Um, sorry about that. The next song I'm going to do is the first one that I ever really performed on a regular basis at our church. It's got a real cool story behind it, and asked Dennis if I could take a few minutes and run through the story. 3 years ago, I had started dating my now wife, and we had gone through the dating process, and we hadn't gone to church together yet. She was going to hers, I was going to mine, and it just hadn't worked out that we were going to the same church. So we had talked on the phone till about 1 o'clock in the morning on the night before we were going to go to church for the first time together. And it's like, okay, I can get up in a couple hours and get ready and drive across town to her church. So I'm laying there in bed and couldn't sleep, so I turned the light on, pulled out my guitar, started thumbing through all my sheet music, and got stuck on this one song. It's a Rich Mullins song, that where I am, there you may also be, based on John chapter 14. So I played that song for about an hour that night, and finally was tired enough to fell asleep. So got up the next morning, drove across town, got into church. We're sitting there, and the pastor gets up, and he said, I had the best sermon written. He said, it was the best ever. He said, I had it all worked out, man. I had all this stuff. I was going to show you all these PowerPoints and everything, and it was just awesome. He said, Friday I got up, and I was walking through the woods, and God just told me, he said, now, this is what you're going to preach on. He said, you set that other one aside. I'll give you time to do that. I want you to preach on this. He said, so God said, okay, here's what I want you to preach on. And he opens up his Bible, and he said, this is John chapter 14. Gotcha. So he does that. Fast forward 2 years. I had decided it was a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and I went down, dusted off my bicycle, said I was going to go for a ride. I was at home alone, so wife was at work. So I just riding along. We live out in the country, and this hawk is just sitting there, just kind of swooping in amongst the top of the trees. I wish I could do that. And brought back to my Catholic days a song that we used to sing, which is called On Eagle's Wings. So I kind of got that going through my head, and over about the next mile, I had written the chorus to this song and had the tune and everything. And I'm like, okay, I hope I don't forget it when I get home. I'm like, well, okay, he gave it to me. He'll make sure I remember it. So get home, fire up the laptop, I'm typing away, and had the chorus, had the verse, and had what was going to be a bridge. And I'm sitting there, okay, I got this. I'm like, well, wait a minute. The song's called Through Him. So, which goes back to, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So I'm like, okay, well, let me pull out the Bible Gateway, and I'm like, I don't even know what verse it is. So typed in the passage and hit enter, and looking at the screen, and I'm like, you're doing it again. Because it's John chapter 14. So I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, I said, okay. So did a little cut and paste. Took the first set of verses and out of the scripture. I said, okay, hey, that fits the word structure. This is great. Don't have to do anything. So I'm like, okay, I got that part. Now let me look and see. So I made that the first verse and bumped the other verse down. Couldn't do anything with the bridge, so I made it the third verse. So I had, the first verse that's right out of the scripture. So I said, all right, let me read the rest of the scripture and see if I get any more revelations. And so I'm reading, and what I had written for the first line of the second verse was the next part of the scripture. Hey, I get it. All right, I get it. So, got that, and then we had done it at church a few times. Mom loved the song. I don't know whether it was because I wrote it or if she actually likes it. I don't know. But on January 1st, my older brother, 13 months older than me, passed away up in Ohio. So my wife and I jump in the car, heading up to Ohio. Had my guitar with me, and I'm like, okay, Mom likes the song, so hopefully I'll play it at the memorial service. And political reasons, I wasn't able to do it at the memorial service, but so we're sitting there. The pastor, Joe's friends get up and talk about him and how great he was, and, which he was. And at the end, the pastor says, before I do the closing prayer, he said, I just felt led to read the scripture, and he opens up the Bible, and anybody want to guess what he started reading? So at that point, I was this puddle on the floor, and I'm like, okay, I get it. But that was just God's way of letting Joe tell me that it's all good. It's a song called "Through Him."